One, two, one, two. See. All right. You are in the midst of another episode of the Confidence Coaching Clinic. Happy Tuesday. Every Tuesday evening, we come live on YouTube on our live stream here for the coaching clinic. I've got too many windows open on my computer. But the Coaching Clinic podcast that we stream every Tuesday evening, and this gets turned into a podcast that releases on Wednesdays, anywhere you get your podcast. But here on the Confidence Coaching Clinic, we want to talk to people who are in the business of making hard decisions, that you aspire to be in that position of leadership to make decisions. We turn impulsive and reactive leaders into confident, calibrated captains that lead the ship and steady an organization when the going gets rough and the seas start to get choppy in whatever you do. All success and failure depends on leadership. And to be in leadership positions, we need people who are not only confident, but competent in what they do. And here on the Confidence Coaching Clinic, we want to imbue you with the type of leadership confidence that you need to be effective in whatever you do. Your role might be mom or dad. Your role might be an executor of an estate. Your role might be a head coach. Your role might be an executive or a leader of a team. But whatever you do, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to need more confidence. And more confidence in this case that we're going to talk about today is to how to get people on board. Super Bowl's coming up. Today is the Tuesday before the Super Bowl, and my goodness, this time of year, it's playoffs and all those things. I don't know. I'm sure most people know about the Super Bowl. I don't know how many of you actually watched the Super Bowl, but I want you to think about something. These quarterbacks, these professional head coaches, these executives, general managers, presidents of football operations, these teams that are responsible for putting together these multi-million dollar rosters. They're running billion-dollar operations. And their sport, or their business, if you will, because of sport, the NFL is the business of winning. I guess professional sports is the business of winning, but specifically talking about the NFL, this is like, next to the World Cup, one of the biggest events in the world. I'm an ex-football player. I'm an athlete, so I gravitate toward the NFL and the playoff football for sure. But this is the time where you see people who come from like nobodies to be household names because of the plays they make on the biggest stage when the lights are the brightest. These are the games and times where people go into immortality. I played at Mizzou, University of Missouri Tigers. Shouts out to them Tigers, MIZ. One of my, just my favorite guys of all time, Mike Jones, played football at Mizzou. He is famous for solidifying the greatest show on turf's legacy, the St. Louis Rams, back with Kurt Warner and all those casts of explosive weapons. They won Super Bowl 34 in 1999. And the iconic play that was made that you're going to see all over the place, and every time there's a Super Bowl, you see this play 100 times, where the linebacker number 52, Mike Jones from St. Louis Rams, tackles Kevin Dyson, the receiver from the Tennessee Titans, on the 1 yard line, and they're trying to win it at the end, and Kevin Dyson reaches out and can't make the goal line. He's stopped on the 1 yard line by a magnificent game-saving tackle by Michael Jones. This is what the Super Bowl is about. These memories. When people that you don't know step up and become household names, like Mike Jones, who was an undrafted free agent coming into the NFL, didn't even play linebacker in college. He played running back, fullback to be specifically, but made an 11-year career in the NFL playing middle linebacker. Here on the Confidence Coaching Clinic, we transform reactive leaders into calibrated and confident captains. Because anybody can lead when things are going well, when the tide is high, when the seas are calm and the winds are soft. But it takes someone with the skill of confidence who understands how to activate that confidence in key moments when the going gets rough. For those of you who might be watching on the live stream, thanks for dropping by. You can go to iwantmorenow.com. Don't click out of this, by the way. Just go to another browser, iwantmore.com, and you can get free resources. My free audiobook, Everyday Star Power, the 12 Self-Confidence Algorithm. You can download that free of charge. And you also get a PDF of my memoir that was published, my first book, Claim Your Star Power, Start Where You Are and Achieve Superstar Success in 4 Simple Steps. And that's what we do here on the Confidence Coaching Clinic podcast. Our mission is to prepare leaders to lead through chaos, embrace uncertainty, and make critical decisions when it matters most. We go into corporations, we go into healthcare organizations. That's my background in healthcare. But today we're talking about football and why NFL quarterbacks, head coaches, and executives get paid the big bucks. Here's the deal. Executive quarterbacks and professional head coaches make big bucks because they're paid to navigate through chaos. They're paid to bring chaos. They're paid to bring English today. They're paid to bring clarity in crisis. As a head coach, 1 week from the next, the local media, ESPN, all these news sources, they're going crazy because you lost a game. You could have lost the game, played your best game of the year, and lost by a field goal at the last minute. But the sky is falling. They have to demonstrate unshakable confidence to bring clarity in what would ordinarily, listening to others, seem like a crisis. These leaders have to embrace uncertainty to lead others to stability, because week after week in football, it is a 1-week season. You hear about that, but when everybody's that good and that level of skill is high in very competitive environments, and it can be the same in your industry, very little separates first from last. But it's usually the leadership of the coach, those executives, and the quarterback that makes the difference. So we're going to talk about what is it that makes these individuals highly confident in what we can learn from them. The first thing I think is pretty obvious. Quarterbacks, head coaches, executives, they cultivate unshakable confidence through their preparation. Do you have any idea how much the starting quarterback at any level has to prepare to play a game? We're talking hours of film study, hours of practice, getting together in small groups, in big groups, in leading other people through game plans. It's the same in organizations. It's the same in nonprofits. There has to be a leader that has a vision that has to motivate and inspire people to execute that vision. They can't do it alone. And executives have to rely on data. They have to plan for different scenarios. It's called strategy. They have to know the market itself. What's going on? What are the forces that are happening in the market that affect buying behaviors, that affect costs, that affect the trends of innovation and where things are going? They've got to study and know their market, know their customer, and they rely on data to do that. They have to be diligently prepared because they have to answer to someone. And that someone could be the owner of an NFL team. Those executives could be the CEO of a public or a private company. And in the context of a public company, it could be the stakeholders, the shareholders, me, you. They have to answer to people who they're responsible for their well-being. Executives are responsible for their internal customers, the employees, because they're making decisions that affect their lifestyles and their well-being. And they're responsible for articulating a vision where people who follow them can create a vision for themselves that is in line with the bigger picture for the organization. That's where people grow the most. That's where they become really bought into the vision of the organization. So what cultivates unshakable confidence in executives and quarterbacks, head coaches, is their preparation. Think about quarterbacks. We just talked about the film study, how they have to know every defensive tendency. Peyton Manning, we associate Peyton Manning with his preparation and just his knowledge of the game. Tom Brady, because even when they got older and they weren't the athlete that they were in terms of reflexes, strength, and speed, they knew the game so well that they saw things before they saw it. Okay, because of the film study, because they understood the defenses, because they knew individual players, and they would rehearse those things until it was muscle memory. So even though Peyton Manning didn't have the arm that he once had, he could read defenses before they react, before they snap the ball. And from the word hut, he usually knew where he was going enough to play with them and throw them off to create space and opportunities for himself. That comes through preparation. Head coaches have to develop game plans for every possible situation. The head coach has to empower an offensive and a defensive coordinator to do the work of preparing the coaches who prepare the players, but it's the head coach who has to cultivate the vision, who has the unshakable confidence, who is the roots of the tree of that organization. It all starts with the leader. The lesson here that we can learn from, preparation is confidence comes by knowing you've done the work. If you get into high pressure situations and you know you have not done all that you can do or should have done, that you take that in to doing that task with you. And you cannot have unshakable confidence because you know you cut yourself short. It's the antidote to imposter syndrome. Preparation is the antidote to imposter syndrome. So when chaos hits, don't panic. You got to come across like you understand what you're doing because you've planned for these scenarios. You've seen the numbers. You've seen this happen in other places, and you know how some people responded to it. It didn't work out. You know how some people responded to it and it did. And so you use your resources, your talent, your team to respond in a way to have success. Again, here on the Confidence Coaching Clinic, this is a live stream. If you hear this, log on every Tuesday. You can find me at Rome Madison on YouTube. The Confidence Coaching Clinic podcast released every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcast. We live stream on this on Tuesday evenings. And we can do spot coaching. If you have a decision, something you're struggling with, I'm happy to weigh in on that using my methodology, anything except relationship goals. I'm not a relationship coach, but I am a confidence coach to help you activate your confidence and look at this thing in a number of ways to be able to move forward and make a good decision. We're talking about why head coaches, quarterbacks, executives make the big bucks. Super Bowl's on Sunday. Second reason is they embrace decisiveness and uncertainty. You have to embrace it. When you're in the leadership role, everybody's looking to you. They expect answers. You can't be hesitant to make a decision. You have to make informed decisions, and you can't have all the information, but you have to make decisions. And the more you get into practice of making decisions, the better you become at it. Okay. So, how about this scenario? Quarterbacks. They have to read a blitz. We were just talking about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, their abilities to read the defenses before the ball is snapped. If they anticipate that they're coming with a blitz, whether it's disguise or they're up on the line and they're coming to take your head off, the quarterback has approximately 1.5 seconds, less than 2, definitely less than 3 seconds to make a decision and get rid of the ball. If they detect a blitz coming, they have a chance to audible, which means everybody has to be on the same page. All of the other 10 players on the field, despite the crowd noise, the elements, everybody has to be on the same page when they call an audible because of what the quarterback believes he saw. And they got to execute. Because of the preparation, they embrace the uncertainty in order to make the decision. They embrace the uncertainty and are able to operate and make sound decisions based on that. And sometimes they only need a little bit of information. They trust themselves. You ever seen a quarterback, be on his heels, throw to a spot? I mean, my goodness, you're watching the Chicago Bears. I'm not a Chicago Bears fan, but I'm a fan of Caleb Williams. You see him just throwing his heels to a spot. We've seen that other quarterbacks do that certainly as well this year, even in the playoffs. But they'll throw to a spot, not where the receiver is. And many times they're throwing the ball before the receiver even makes his break and turns and looks for the ball. Because the quarterback has already seen it. He knows where the receiver should be, anticipating that the receiver saw the same. And sometimes he's communicated with that receiver before the snap of the ball. The reason why quarterbacks are paid the big bucks in this scenario is because they embrace having to make decisions amid uncertainty like that, even on the big stage. Coaches go for it on fourth down all the time. Once a decision is made to go for it, the coach has to move on to the different scenarios. If we make it, here's another set of downs and plays that we're going to run. If we don't make it, here's what we're going to do on defense. See, the coach has to move on because he has to be confident that once the decision is made, to delegate the execution to someone else, because he has to have the forethought on what to do with the next 5 minutes of the game or the next 2 timeouts to put themselves in a position to win. It's not over. Even if they fail, failure is not final. Failure is only feedback. And that's good for us to remember. Life is not a game, but the rules are similar. Failure is not final. It's only feedback. So one of the reasons that they are paid the big bucks is because they embrace making the hard decisions amid uncertainty. Whether you're a head coach, whether you're a quarterback, an executive, sometimes if the business is not going well, they have to make a decision sometimes mid-quarter or middle of the year. If you're in a public organization like I once was, we used to do quarterly reports. At the beginning of the year, they say, hey, this is what we want, where we're going. This is the vision that we got. This is where we're headed. And even though you told the world that, if it's not going well at the end of Q1, sometimes you got to make another decision, pivot based on the data. And the reason they're paid the big bucks to make those tough decisions amid uncertainty is their confidence in their ability to move towards another vision. The lesson here is that hesitation breeds self-doubt, and self-doubt is expensive. We're going to get into that in weeks to follow. But you've got to believe in yourself, believe in the vision that you've got, and then also believe in your team in order to make the decision when you're uncertain. Because there is a significant penalty to hesitation. Confident leaders choose a path and commit, knowing that a good decision now is better than a perfect decision too late. You can make a decision and you can correct yourself along the way. The third reason why quarterbacks, executives, and head coaches are paid the big bucks because of their confidence is because they project calm to stabilize other people. They project calm in the storm. You've got to be confident in yourself, your ability, and your vision to remain calm while chaos is happening around you. In times of crisis, people watch their leaders. It doesn't matter if it's the country, schools, organizations where there's restructuring, layoffs are happening. The first thing they look to or listen for is how their leader is going to show up, how the leader is going to sound, how he's going to look, how his voice, the resonance of his voice is going to come through. What is he going to say? The little things make big differences when chaos is happening with respect to a leader being able to instill confidence in other people. In a crisis, everybody's going to be watching the leader and how they show up. A CEO's steady demeanor during earnings calls, when he gets peppered with questions from investors, they listen to how confident he is, even saying what they're saying. A quarterback has to be poised in the 2-minute drill. The last 2 minutes of the half of a football game, which is the first half, second half, second quarter, fourth quarter, everything is at heightened awareness. The crowd is its most frenzied. The defense is its most fierce. Quarterback has to be poised. They got to project calm in the storm to get everyone else to buy in. A coach has to be focused on the sidelines, and it's the way that they wear their energy and walk around that becomes infectious for others, even when they're behind, even when they're down, even when things aren't going well at the moment in the game. The team could easily get down on themselves, but it is the presence of the leader on the sideline, the head coach, the assistant coaches, all that comes from the top. Their ability to project calm in the midst of chaos becomes a stabilizing factor on the organizations that can become a catalyst for growth. The lesson here is that confidence is sometimes a performative way to stabilize other people and to imbue confidence in them when times are tested. Your calm becomes the team's calm, and how you hold yourself as a leader directly influences the emotional state of those that you lead. The reason why they're paid the big bucks, quarterbacks, head coaches, executive leaders, is because they're poised. They're paid to have poise, which is their ability to stabilize their inner emotions so the outer optics of how they show up in that moment are calm and stabilizing to others. Be sure to subscribe to the Confidence Clinic here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. A lot of people listen to the podcast on YouTube but don't actually subscribe to the podcast. Some people see the links and the reels and may watch bits and portions of it. We love that, but please subscribe and help us grow and reach people so you can get updates on amazing new content like this one. We're talking about why quarterbacks, head coaches, and executives are paid the big bucks. The first reason was they cultivate unshakable confidence through their preparation. The second thing was they embrace making decisions in uncertain times. The third thing is they project calm in the storm, which stabilizes the organization. The next is they communicate with clarity and conviction. Think about when that 2-minute drill, when the quarterback steps into the huddle. Sometimes when you get the mic on the field and you're able to get the sound behind the game, somebody's mic'd up. The quarterback has to be clear, concise, forward moving. Executives, when they're peppered with questions, they can't be hum and ha, and I think they have to speak intentional, powerful language that communicates confidence, that communicates conviction. They have to frame challenges as solvable and instill belief through the certainty of speech. I love the book by John C. Maxwell. He has probably over 100 books on the topic of leadership, but my favorite book is Everyone Communicates, but Few Connect. In moments of chaos, when crisis happens, you've got to communicate as a leader in order to make a connection. You have to make an emotional connection with those you lead to get them to take action. We talked about this on other podcasts, but what happens when you are involved in this from a molecular level? That means that the words that you speak go in your ears first and convert yourself, convicts you to know that you can do these things. When that happens, all the cells in your body, the vibrations of those cells, those molecules, vibrate on such a level that they align with the universe to give you what you want. We're talking about why quarterbacks, why executives, why head coaches make the big bucks. Sigmaverse, how do I purchase a course? Go to iwantmorenow.com. I'll drop that in the chat. iwantmorenow.com. You can get some free resources, my audiobook, the 12-step confidence algorithm, and you can also claim your star power. Start where you are and achieve success in 4 simple steps. Welcome to the Confidence Clinic. iwantmorenow.com. And you can find some free resources there, and that will get you updates on our webinar where you can buy into a course. And obviously, you can reach out to me, RomeMaddison.com, Google Rome Addison, wherever you see those platforms. Connect with me, DM. We're talking about the confidence that you need to have in order to make decisions when chaos happens. And with the Super Bowl coming up this week, we're talking about why quarterbacks, head coaches, and executives make the big bucks. They're not made the big bucks just because they got great names and they look good in the shower. No, they're made big bucks because they're expected to perform under pressure. We expect them to be able to function under the most extreme circumstances. The Super Bowl, when all eyes are on you, the cameras are the brightest, everybody's watching you, the camera is up in your face, watching it. If you blow your nose or if you squint. Why they make the big bucks? We're on this one because they communicate with clarity and conviction. The lesson that you can take away from this is that the words you choose shape your reality. Confident leaders have to use language that creates certainty, even when none exist. It is by speaking a thing into fruition that it becomes real to you. Miles Monroe, great speaker. Miles Monroe said, you can have sight, but no vision. Ooh, I think he got that from Helen Keller. But he talks about and teaches a framework that there's a lot of people who can see, but they have no vision. Helen Keller, I believe the quote is, there's nothing sadder or more tragic than the person that has sight but no vision. You have to see things not just as they are, but you have to see them as they can be, better than what they are. You have to see yourself not just as you are, you have to see yourself better than what you are. That's where your confidence kicks in. And we coach here at the Confidence Coaching Clinic podcast and the Confidence Coaching Clinic that we take into organizations. We teach leaders how to activate that personal power and boost their confidence in critical times when they need that to become more influential, to have conviction, to speak with power. Today, we're talking about these head coaches, executives, and quarterbacks. The last thing, the reason why they're paid the big bucks. And let me recap what we've talked about so far. One, they cultivate their unshakable confidence through their preparation. We have no idea how much time they put into preparing for the Super Bowl, to play a game, even the backups, an enormous amount of time going through every scenario. Same is true for executives. Same is true for head coaches. They embrace decisiveness and amid uncertainty. They embrace decisiveness amid uncertainty. Hesitation breeds doubt. Self-doubt is a serious tax penalty and will cost you dearly, not only time, and money, when you doubt yourself, because you stop yourself from taking a risk. You stop yourself from moving forward. You stop yourself from getting in the game, staying in the game to allow yourself to have success. The third reason why coaches, quarterbacks, executives make the big money is because they have to project calm to stabilize other people. You ever heard them talk post game? They're able to assume responsibility. They're able to be accountable without ego. I'm gonna say that again. The reason why head coaches, executives, quarterbacks are paid the big bucks is because they're paid to be calm in the storm. And sometimes you have to take accountability for a loss. You have to take accountability and responsibility for something that you had nothing to do with. If somebody gives up a big play on defense, it's the quarterback and the head coach that comes and says, we got to play better. We didn't prepare our team, whatever the case is. That's why they're paid the big bucks, is because they have to assume responsibility and be accountable without ego. That takes a supreme level of confidence and self-esteem. But here's the real reason why they're paid the big bucks. And here's what we can take away from quarterbacks, executives, and head coaches. You got to thrive in the high-stake moments. You got to be comfortable in the spotlight, or comfortable being uncomfortable enough to allow yourself clarity to make decisions that are necessary. They thrive on high-stake moments. People, these quarterbacks that you see, these folks who play in the NFL, who rise to the occasion, become household names that you ain't never heard of, but you will hear from them for the rest of their life. You'll see the plays that they made for the rest of NFL football Super Bowl week. Never heard of them until they made a big play. The reason why these players are paid the big bucks is because they thrive on the big high stakes moments. One of the things you hear on NFL films that they say is big time players make big time games, make big time plays in big time games. Say that again. Big time players make big time plays in big time games. You want to get to the quan. You want to make that money thrive for the high pressure situations. These quarterbacks, we talk about Tom Brady, we talk about Peyton Manning, whoever sets the standard for you as a quarterback, they're at their best when they're in the high pressure moments. Patrick Mahomes, not in spite of the high pressure moments, but because of it. And specifically with quarterbacks in the NFL, that's how they judge greatness, is how did you perform when the lights were the brightest? That clutch gene, that clutch mentality. I know Super Bowl is Sunday. We're talking about football, but this is true in all sports. It's true in any area of performance when people come through when people are depending on them the most. This clutch mentality is simply your trained focus, your ability to narrow the attention to the moment, to stay in that moment and anchor yourself in your confidence, accepting of the situation, fully embracing it, understanding that you're prepared, and following your strategy. That is how you come through in clutch moments. It's not by luck. It's not by happenstance. The lesson that we can learn in this is that confidence is your ability to convert pressure into performance, to convert pressure into executive leadership presence, to get everyone to focus on the next play, the next move, the next decision, to get them to block out all the chaos that's been going on, all the things that you cannot control, and simply make the next best decision in what you have to do. Now, here's what this means for you. Great that quarterbacks make all this money. Great that executives make all this money, but what does this have to do with you, right? You don't need a C-suite title. You don't need to play a sport to embody this type of confidence. Because if you tune in to the Confidence Coaching Clinic podcast, you will learn that confidence is a learned skill. We're going to teach you week after week. Come to the live stream every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. We'll release these episodes wherever you get your podcast on Wednesdays every week. Prepare relentlessly so your competence is non-negotiable. That is the cornerstone of your confidence, is your ability, your skill, your level of knowledge, your competence, knowing that you put in the work. Decide and make decisions with conviction. Even if you don't have all the information, just the conviction that you have instills confidence in other people, especially in times of uncertainty, for people to give their best effort to move forward. The third thing is remain calm in the storm. Give yourself and give your team the psychological edge by anchoring yourself. And again, in come back next week, we might talk about how to anchor ourselves physically. There's a process that we teach in our coaching sessions, our leadership coaching sessions. We target people, leaders in organizations, to teach them how to activate their confidence in critical moments in order to move the team forward, in order to calm the seas of whatever's happening in chaos and uncertainty and become a catalyst for growth. You have to perform when the heat is on. The fourth thing is you have to speak clearly. Speak with clarity. Your words are the architect of your future. Speak with clarity. For those on the live stream, if I can help you with anything, if you have a question, if you've got a scenario before we jump off, I'd love you to coach you through it. You can come on live, you can type your question in and I can answer it. But this is what we do on the Confidence Coaching Clinic, spot coaching. If you have a decision and you want to think through it, I'm your confidence coach to show you how to approach that. And hopefully I can help you. Anything except relationships. And the fifth thing is you got to own it. You have to step into it and you got to own the moment, the spotlight, the pressure. Win, lose, draw. There is no win or a loss. Technically, there is, because when somebody loses a Super Bowl, they didn't learn nothing. They lost it. But I love what Jay-Z says, my favorite rapper. He says, I will lose because in defeat, there's a valuable lesson learned, so that evens it up for me. You either win or you learn. There is no win or loss in the game of life. And that's fortunate for us. We don't have to play in a Super Bowl. Every day is our Super Bowl. Every day we get to step up and give the effort to win a championship. But you got to show up. This is the Confidence Coaching Clinic. We're here every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central, live stream on YouTube, and follow me at Rome Madison on all of my platforms. And you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Next week, tune in. You can go to iwantmorenow.com for those on the live stream. Get your 12-step confidence algorithm and your book, your PDF of my memoir, Claim Your Star Power. The 12-step confidence algorithm is called Everyday Star Power, and that is an audiobook. So you can play it right on your phone when you download it. Thank you for dropping by. Tune in next week. Let's get busy. Get focused. In your next level of achievement, it's going to require more confidence, but we can help you build it. Let's get busy.